Hello there, welcome, good morning. My name is Babajide Guerrero. This is HotSports, and it's going to be very, very interesting as usual. My gentlemen are already in the studios, making a return to the show, of course, is Israel Bankole. Israel, how are you, man?
Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing, man? You look very dapper. I like this, actually.
Thank you very much.
How did your week go?
It was fine.
Okay, not bad. All right, so that's Israel Bankole, and of course, returning to the show after a bit of, should I say injury, or probably he just took a while off the show. Hey, Igbinige, how are you?
I'm fine.
You look fresh, well rested, no problems.
It's peace of mind. Peace of mind. Good morning to our viewers. It's good to be back on the show, man.
Yes,
it was nice. I missed it. So
yes, indeed.
It's good to be back.
We also missed you. I'm sure the viewers missed you as well. But let's get right into it. We'll go for a quick break, and this time, our own Ufoma Osusu had a sit down with the first ever and still the only individual gold medalist at the Olympics. You want to call her an Olympic legend, Chioma Ajunwa Okpara, who also happened to be the Assistant Commissioner of Police. We had a sit down with her, and this is what they discussed.
London 2012 was a very sad news for keen watchers of sports at the Olympics that Nigeria didn't come back with a single medal. Are we likely to face that kind of situation?
Well, I don't want to predict. I don't want to predict anything. But they said, by their fruit we shall know them. If they think they prepared well, so be it. But if it will be a very big shame if what happened during London 2012, if it should repeat itself again. Because when they came back, everybody was saying, we need to start preparation now. And if they failed to prepare that time, it means they were preparing to fail. It's a pity that we Nigerians, we so love sports. And that is why people are still talking about it. Personally, I would have said everybody should forget about it. Let them do it the way they think they can do it best. It's a shame that every year we'll be shouting, oh, they didn't do well, athlete didn't do well. If you prepare the athlete, definitely they will do well. But if you didn't prepare them, if you leave an athlete that is going to compete in the Olympic Games to prepare himself or herself, definitely don't even think about medal, because it's not possible that an athlete should go and train alone and be able to face the people that have been preparing physically, spiritually, materially and otherwise. Are you getting me? Because Olympic preparation needs a lot of things. These athletes need to expose, they need to be exposed, they need to go out to do a kind of training, they need to do certain things, they need to train with modern, equipment and facilities. And since we don't have it here, well, I think we should go out to expose the athlete. And if you don't want to, after all, Jamaicans never, they are not going to anywhere to go and train. They are in their country. And the country makes sure that all the things needed, they're on ground.
You're welcome back to the show. Of course, that was Ufoma Osusu with Chioma Ajunwa Okpara, who also is an instructor at the Nigerian Police Training School and the first African to win an Olympic gold medal in a field event. That's quite interesting right there. But hey, we're here right now, guys. So the CAF approving VAR for 2019. Let me start with you. Now, the world has seemed to like VAR these days. In fact, we've seen it used at the Champions League and the World Cup. But CAF following this suit, it seemed like a good one, yeah?
Yes, but when you say the word, I think it's 50-50 because
okay.
I don't think everybody supports VR. We've had it on this show about the OVR issue, and I was like slightly against and for against it. This Champions League we just saw. I think it's going to be a long time for football. Football is going to get boring because of VR. I've said it's inevitable,
yes,
but we'll adjust to it. It's life. You have to change. You have to adapt to change.
Well, I'm tired. I may be tired. I may be depressed. I may not be feeling fine at this particular time. I may be psychologically down. That's the thought from the Super Eagles goalkeeper here right now, and Francis Uzoho. And this is not coming from him, but this is what the feel looks like, Israel Bankole. He was a signed player to Elche,
yes,
and now recently he moved on loan to Cyprus. But
yes,
unfortunately, we hear you have all the gist about it. So yes, go on.
There's an issue with his medical because one, he arrived 4 p.m. and he was listed for the game on Saturday. Now looking at the clearance card now, he's supposed to have done his medical, but they got the news that this man arrived 4 p.m. and the office closed by 2:30. So how could the club finally found a clearance card to give to submit and also feature in the next game? So there were a little bit it was not clear there, so they had to look into investigate and find out that Uzoho did not even do any clearance. They had to submit a fake clearance certificate, which the other club taking them. Uzoho has been found. They found Uzoho, and also 1 match ban, banning for the game. Now, so Uzoho is looking at all these things. He just came a day to the game, and he's been fined and suspension and everything. So the young man, everything is not really working well for the young man.
And we hear he wants to leave immediately.
Yes. He said he wants to leave because of the situation around the whole transfer saga, and which is not really good for the young man. He's just 20 years old, so now he needs support and psychologists to talk to him to see how he can put his feet back into the team.
6-0 when Manchester City, took Chelsea to the cleaners during the course of the league. Now, this is a cup final. Gentlemen, do you expect anything different?
I think Sarri would have learned from his mistake because the first leg they defeated Man City, if you can remember. So the second leg is meant to happen because this neutral ground, I think, is going to be a very nice game.
After the sorry to cut in there, but let me just take this from you. After the Chelsea match where they defeated, where they lost to City 6-0, the hierarchy in Chelsea came out to give an ultimatum. They said, beat Sheffield United, beat Malmo, beat Malmo, beat Manchester United in the FA Cup, and then win the Carabao Cup. This seemed like the last straw, Israel Bankole. This could be the last time we see Mauricio Sarri, because we hear that Zinedine Zidane is on the flanks with a 200 million war chest and keeping Hazard.
Definitely, Sarri needs to get he must win Manchester United to keep his job. Manchester City to keep his job today, and very, very difficult for him. Manchester City, they're a complete side everywhere, from the defense to the goalkeeper to the attack. So I think Sarri needs to bring up his A game to see how he can keep his job. But I don't think he can.
Manchester United, just like Aina said, in the league, 6th to 4th, they seem like a juggernaut of destruction. They're on extreme road these days. But what does it look like against this Liverpool side?
Playing Liverpool side, I think Liverpool will win this game because Liverpool still want to maintain the top of the table. They still want to win this league. They're in course to win this league. I think Manchester United won't stop them from doing well. I think in the league this week, Manchester United under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will test their first defeat. I think Liverpool will beat them at home.
The thing about this game, I just think it might end in a draw because Liverpool have a way of disappointing you. Actually, it's not that Man U is going to play fantastic, but the fact is that Liverpool will disappoint you. That's Liverpool for you. They could be winning 10 games in a row. They just get to that day, and that's the day Salah is doing all those his dribbles that he's forgetting the ball at the back. It happens, and I don't know why they do that, because you've seen what now they could have easily been like 7 points ahead of City. But you look at where they are. That's typical Liverpool. So I'm rooting for a draw because I believe Liverpool might just get to Old Trafford and freeze. It's clinical.
All right, so I think today is a day of predictions, right? So I'm going to stick with Man United winning this one. I'm actually going to put a figure to it. You know what? I'm saying Manchester United is winning this game by 2-1, actually.
Who's calling the winning goals? Lukaku.
I don't know.
Lukaku's going to score the winning goal.
But something just tells me Manchester United will win. All right, guys, so quickly, we're having so much fun in the studio. I'm sure you're having the same amount of fun at home as well. So let's heighten the level of fun now, shall we? Let's go to the boxing ring where I got my man Bola Tito Inei on standby. Stick around. We're now in the boxing ring. Inside boxing, of course, is what I mean. Of course, I've got my man, Bola Tito Yenai, who happens to be my boxing expert in the studio. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. I mean, it's good to see you again. But hey, you off camera, you were telling me you had little or nothing to do this weekend. But how about this? I mean, last weekend, I beg your pardon. But this particular weekend, you have your hands full with some juicy, interesting boxing bouts. First off, Eubank Jr. taking on the girl. Last week we mentioned how important it is for Eubank, one, a son of a legend, and the other, a man who seemed to be quite tired. And then there was a particular press briefing recently, and he really didn't look himself, the girl.
The last press conference he had, the girl kind of looked, he looked worn out. He looked tired. He looked a bit drained, to be very honest. And I guess that comes with the territory, being an older fighter who's been in the ring a lot more. A 33-year-old man who is cutting down weight. So it's expected.
Who's your smart money on? Still on Eubank, or you've shifted based on
My
the
money
girls?
is still on Eubank Jr. inside 8 rounds.
Okay, so let me put that down. The
Inside
world
8
is
rounds.
hearing right now.
Yeah.
Inside 8 rounds, Eubank Jr. knocks out the girl. Okay.
Not let's say stops him.
Stops the girl. Okay, all right.
The girl gets stopped within 8 rounds.
Okay.
And that's no knock on the girl as a fighter. But I just think that
Eubank wants it more.
Eubank is the kind of, you know how they say styles make fights. Eubank he's all action, all pressure, and
He keeps coming at you.
He keeps coming at you. I don't think he's going to give the girl that space to be a technical fighter tonight. I feel like Eubank Jr.'s youth shows, and I feel like it will be too much for the girl to keep up with. And I feel like by the 8th round, I feel like the girl will be out there, possibly retiring.
Me, definitely.
Possibly retiring after this fight.
All right, there you have it. Of course, you know for a fact that fight will be tonight at O2 Arena in Greenwich. And remember that www.hotsporttv.com is that port, just in case you want to keep updates on a particular fight. But let's keep our update on the heavyweight fight happening very soon as well, as Joe Joyce will be fighting Berman Steven. And this year is another heavyweight fight. And, you know, I was just mentioning to you off camera as well that this guy seems to be in the same category with AJ and Baby Miller and Deontay Wilder. We hear less of them, but this is actually going to be a very interesting fight because Joe Joyce seems to be a decorated amateur fighter.
Yes, definitely. Joe Joyce is a decorated amateur. He has, in the amateur ranks, he has 2 gold, 2 bronze, 2 gold medals and 2 bronze medals, and he has an Olympic silver medal at the 2016 Olympics. So this is definitely, because a lot of the issues that people tend to have with the heavier weight class, especially the heavyweight class, is that there doesn't seem to be that much competition for the top guys. I mean, right now, apart from Joshua, Fury, Wilder, and Joe Joyce being an Olympic silver medalist, you know, he has the credentials, decorated amateur. He's a bit old, he's 33 years old, but he's a late professional. So this fight puts him against Berman Steven, who was the WBC champion before Wilder took the strap away from him. So this is his fight to test himself against the former champion, and if he can pull the victory, this might catapult him to gain those fights against top contenders, and who knows, down the line we might see him fight Joshua, one of these guys. And by the way, Joe Joyce has Nigerian ancestry as well.
Oh, okay. So does that already mean that you have your sentiments towards him being a brother?
I feel like, you know, it's natural for that to happen.
Baby Miller and AJ, Anthony Joshua, at the press conference recently, and it didn't go down well entirely. At some point, Baby Miller actually pushed Anthony Joshua and then saying the N-word, and then Joshua lost his cool a bit. And this is a field, professionally, this is what we've seen in the modern day boxing, the ability to sell fights. I think this is what this is, right? Yeah.
I mean, you say that this didn't go well, but I think it went very well because now, you know, again, a lot of the...
when I mean didn't go well, I'm sure the questions, they will expect them to sit down, shake hands,
but then, you know, when it comes... Exactly, and then take each other out to dinner. but you know, coming from a fan's perspective, no one, well, especially casual fans, no one really wants to see that. People want to see drama. That's the kind of fight people want to see. People want to believe that these guys actually do not like each other, because imagine if Miller was like, they shook hands and then they hugged and they were very respectful.
You know,
I mean,
I looked up to you.
Yeah, it's the sportsman-like thing to do, but then sometimes to really sell a fight for the fans, you have to sometimes put that aside.
But I'm sure all this will be laid to rest in June, of course, when we see that big fight happening in the Madison Square Garden. That's the first time, of course, maybe the second time Anthony Joshua, or will it be the first time?
It's the first time he's fighting outside the UK.
Fighting outside the
as
UK.
As a professional.
Yeah. All right, so that's it. So just so we're clear, tonight's fight for you is for Eubank Jr., and the fight between Joe Joyce and Bierman is for Joe Joyce.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so maybe towards June we'll talk about Anthony Joshua's and Baby Miller's.
I can still make my prediction now.
Go ahead. What do you think?
I think Joshua gets him out there. Inside, let me know. Joshua gets him out. Let me not get to him. But I think, I mean, if Joshua goes in there, if it's the same Joshua we've always seen, I think Joshua gets him out there.
All right. Thank you so very much, Bola Tito.
Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure. All right, guys, the show continues. This is HotSports. Go nowhere not. We'll be right back. We're asking this morning that after finishing 4th at the just concluded AFCON U20 Championship, the Flying Eagles, are they good enough to make a significant mark at the Poland FIFA U20 Championship happening in May? That's what we're asking this morning. So whip out your phones and text us and tell us what exactly your thoughts is. And of course, please do well to follow us on our social media platforms right on your screen, and as well as www.hotsporttv.com. We'll go for a quick break, and when we return, the gentlemen are here with the thesis statement.
The Nigeria Under-20 team is not going to make a significant mark in the Under-20 Championship in Poland as well. So I'm saying no, they can't.
Yes, definitely. I think they would do perfectly well, despite the fact they didn't, despite that they finished 4th in the Under-20 tournament. But I still believe they will do well in the World Cup.
And we are live and we are here. It's time, guys. So, Israel, you go first.
First, looking at the Under-20 team, we've qualified 11 times. This tournament will be the 12th time we've qualified, and we've managed to finish second in 2 editions. That's in 1989 and 2005. And looking at those times, we've been doing well in age grade competition. We know Nigeria for that, from under-17 to under-20. And this time around, despite we know we also what happened in the under-20 and the United Nation Cup, that we didn't do very well. But the defense, there are some positives you can pick out of this game, out of this team. That the defense, the keeper. Those two departments can keep those guys.
I like the fact that you just stated that we didn't do well in the last competition.
Yes, we finished 4th.
So
we finished 4th. We have our tickets to the World Cup. We have our tickets to the World Cup. That's
answered what I said. The fact that we didn't do well in the tournament.
That doesn't mean we won't do well in the World Cup.
First of all, the reason why we didn't do well in our own is because of lack of development. You know, in the last 2 to 3 years, Nigerian football hasn't really been that good. You know, from the administrative side, you know, we've really not had plans. You really don't see young players coming up. Even the qualification, I remember the game we had against Niger, and we won 1-0. You know, I said to myself, is Paul Agbo going to take these boys over to Poland? What is it going to change over these boys? We really didn't play well. For Nigeria to finish 4th is a bad result. It's a very bad result. Now, don't forget. It's a bad result. It's like Brazil finishing 4th in Copa America. Why are we going to greater success?
Don't forget that we didn't qualify for the last edition of the World Cup, and now we've gotten our tickets. Now, Paul Agbo needs to work on this team now. The attack. We've seen the keeper, we've seen the defense, and 2 of our players made the best 11. Now, Agbo just needs to add Nation Cup. He just needs to tweak the team, add 1 or 2 or 3 players to it.
But what I'm saying is, if you look at the last 3 editions of the Under-20, it's been won by European teams.
Definitely.
And see, it's no surprise. Imagine a team like Serbia. Who would have thought about it? Who would have predicted it? It all comes as well to development. You know, you plan. Under-20, look at the boys running football show right now. You look at Mbappe, how old is he? You look at Vinicius of Real Madrid. You even come to England, see Rashford. You see the young players that they are bringing out in this world right now are very good. So now that's why England that won the last edition. You look at this young boy in Man City, Foden. You look at the way they play. Nigeria, we don't have any boy in our 20 like that can compete with like top 50 of the young Under-20 players out there. Everybody's developing their squad.
Don't forget that we have a certain summer.
We have a certain, yes. We do. This is his first season, and after the game against, he was doing well because in the last obviously. How is Vinicius? How is Vinicius of Madrid?
Gentlemen, before we go into name callings, of course, this different player, probably lose focus of this
No,
particular.
what I'm saying
but
is-
what I'm saying is, what I'm trying to say is,
You are saying
the
what I'm saying.
Nigerian team. Yes, I'm trying to say what you want to say.
Okay.
The Nigerian team happened to be the most successful when it comes to age-graded competitions. And
Yes.
that's all that.
In the past,
don't you
in the
feel?
past,
yes. So
Babajide.
don't you feel that pedigree?
No, it doesn't.
has to count for something.
It doesn't stand for anything right now because that was in the past. Because you remember the 2009 competition under 17 that they held in Nigeria that Switzerland won. Nobody predicted that final.
Yes.
Nobody. But look at that Switzerland team. I told somebody something. It's all boils to plan. Look at the Belgian national team today that is successful. I remember after the Euro 2000, the Belgians, they said, in the next 10 years, we see ourselves among the top stars in football. And they all did it. It's plan. Nigeria, we don't plan for anything. Now we're going for another 20 other championship. After this ends, we'll just slip over and next thing start graduating other players. There's no plan. There's no plan.
I'll disagree.
See,
I'll
this is
disagree
why
with you
England.
with that
I never England.
that's why we have under 17 from under
Yes,
17 to under
but
20.
that's even the
now,
under 17.
Now the problem that
look
the
at
break now, we have to break because we didn't qualify for the last edition of the World Cup.
So that means
That's
that
what-
there's
that's
a
what I'm
missing
saying.
in that.
Yes.
There's a missing
it's
there.
because it's
And
lack
which-
of planning.
And that's why Polago is struggling now.
I won't be surprised
Which
we
I
get to
think-
Poland. They won't have paid our hotel fee. I won't be surprised. I'm just saying.
No,
It's
let's-
not going to happen, but I won't be surprised. There's nothing that surprises. But it's what drives football.
So
The last-
hold on, guys. Before this could be the last thing we talk about here. But do you feel, Israel, that these boys have enough quality in their arsenal to go all the way, or probably to do something significant in Poland?
Definitely from the keeper and from the defense line, from the midfield. I think,
But with this same-
they are spot on.
but this same
what you
quality
just
of
need, you
players.
just need some striker. Just add 2 or 3 players to that foreign base player
This
to
is
see how we
players
can.
do win the African
That's what I'm
Championship
about
under
to say.
20.
No,
They
see,
finished fourth.
the
We couldn't
target
finish third.
was just to qualify.
Yes, we got to the
And
semi-final.
which we
Even the
qualified.
Yes, I know.
Which we qualified.
But
And we lost by
that
penalty.
Yes, we lost the
And you know,
semi-final by
you've been
penalty.
saying this,
But
and
I'm
it
shocked.
been had qualified. You've been saying this.
Yes,
So
but I'm
there's
shocked.
still room
See,
for improvement
my own
for
is,
this
I
team.
don't see any improvement going to this because
All
I've
right.
said it is planning. You look at the crop of players you are bringing. These are not players that the young under 20 boys you have now. Let me use it in our local PG
Parlance,
direct.
yeah.
The vex.
Yeah.
These under 20 young boys in Europe, they vex, they para. So when we are coming to look at this and say, oh, Nigeria can do this, it's not this the way it used to be in 1989 when you had Africans just go there. We're accused of always feeding on overage boys. And
No,
yes,
no, I
yes,
won't agree
we were
with you. I won't
accused
agree- no.
of it. I'm saying it, but now
Yes.
things are changing now.
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
can easily point that no, that's not that 20. So now it's a different game. Europe is playing. Look at the last 3 winners. They've been from Europe. Talk about France. Talk about Serbia. You talk about England. Now this is shocking because it just shows you they've been planning. This
There
is
is
not
a shift.
about.
Okay.
This is not about you go to the tournament, you win. This
Okay.
is you plan. You bring players. You train them
All right,
from when they are 10. When they get to this stage, you see.
Okay,
That's the
all
thing.
right. That would be Eno's final thought, of course. Israel, it's time for your own final thought.
I think Polago has done a very good job. I think it's still a work in progress. We've seen his team and we know where he needs to improve his team and which is the attack. They defended very well, very, very well. I think just add 1 or 2 players to the team. I think we are good to go.
All right, so we're good to go for a final break, and when we return, it will be time for the final whistle. So this is my final whistle. I feel, and quite strongly as well, like I like to say, that everything that is good or best or better can be improved upon. I'd like to lean slightly towards Israel, who feel Paul Igbogun have done a good job by marshalling these boys with the little he had and then pushing them close to the semi-finals. But the team can be improved upon, yes. But what else can be improved upon? I tell you what, it has to be the planning. The reason why we don't have any good success stories in that particular field recently is because there's not been proper planning, and that's why I would like to lean towards more. If at all the planning is right, if at all the job are done behind the closed doors and behind, the football pitches, off the football pitches, I beg your pardon, would have a good result on the football pitch. But that's my thoughts. But what are your thoughts? Do well to send us text messages on the platform on your screen. And come next week, Saturday, I will read a couple of messages, I promise you. My name is Babajide Guerrero. And before we go on the show, I'd like to say thank you very much to Israel Bankole. How are you, man?
Yeah, thank you. Merci beaucoup.
Yeah, merci. Yeah, he said he's a lot of French, actually. You don't speak any French. It's only pidgin.
Messi, Barcelona.
Merci, Barcelona. Merci beaucoup.
Barcelona, the greatest.
All right, guys, go have fun. Enjoy the Caribbean Cup final. I would enjoy the Super Sunday as well tomorrow. From all of us here on the production crew, we thank you very much.